Welcome. We're here today with Bruce McClure, author of Buy or Run, I'm a Real Home Inspector, Not a TV Celebrity.
Thank you, Steve. It's great to be here.
Bruce, we know that your book has been getting a lot of attention both in the USA and Canada, but today we're going to focus mostly on Canada. What is happening there?
Well, just like in 35 states and 3 provinces, the Ontario government has decided it's time to look into the licensing or regulating of home inspectors.
Interesting. Do you see this as a good thing?
In theory, licensing is a good thing. However,
What's the however all about?
well, what we really need is good legislation. That's the real issue. To date, there's been 35 states and 3 provinces that have implemented some form of regulation or licensing. The however is, none of them have gotten it right.
That sounds hard to believe.
Yes, it is. Now, can you actually believe that in the government's report, point number 8 actually states, and I'm going to read it exactly the way it is, there should be no mandatory education requirement to become a home inspector.
You have got to be kidding.
Not at all. Further, the report goes on to state, and again, I'm actually going to read, consumers often rely on and trust their real estate agents and should have the right to allow their agents to recommend and even arrange the home inspection. Steve, tell me how that's consumer protection.
Well, as a consumer myself who's recently sold a home, I know that the real estate agent does have a vested interest in selling the home. So if they're organizing my home inspection, does this not put them in a conflict of interest?
Well, Steve, overall, that's what the book's all about. Why the system isn't working. Really, there's 2 big issues that haven't been dealt with.
And what are those 2 issues?
Well, to date, number 1, not a single government has really taken education of home inspectors seriously. Most accept 90 to 125 hours of education, home inspector passes exam, and voila, they're a home inspector.
So Bruce, what would be point number 2?
Point number 2 is the real big one. To date, out of the 35 governments in 3 provinces, not one has dealt with the problem that it's really the realtors controlling the home inspection industry. The problem is realtors that promote home inspectors that turn a blind eye and play down issues in order to promote their sale.
So Bruce, what's your position?
Well, Steve, in addition to the book, I've put together what I call my 5-point list. And what the list does is it deals with the issues that none of the other governments have dealt with so far. To date, I've distributed that list to all 105 members of Parliament in Ontario and directly in person to the Ministry of Consumer Services.
And are they listening to you?
In our meeting, they were definitely listening and asking very good questions. Are they really listening? Only time's going to tell.
So how about we jump into your 5-point list?
First, Steve, we'll summarize the 5 points and then we'll go back and discuss each one separately. Point number 1, we're going to talk about the education of home inspectors. Point number 2, we're going to talk about the education of realtors. Number 3, we're going to talk about errors and omissions insurance and what it really means and what it's all about. Number 4 is the real biggie. That's where we're going to deal with the conflict of the realtor and the home inspection. And of course, number 5, we're going to talk about what the governments should really be doing in the way of consumer protection.
That sounds like a lot of stuff.
It is.